Alright, let's get underway with glades here. So the way that I'll be doing this section is by commentating alongside a video of the segment being played, pausing here and there to explain a few things, and going in game now and then to give a little bit more detail on the stuff that needs it. So we've done our prologue skip, we're just going to head off to the left here, jumping along the ground. The only thing that we can really do to speed ourselves up at this point is by jumping instead of running. When Ori runs along uneven terrain, which is most of the ground in Ori, you lose a little bit of your horizontal speed to going up or down along the bumps of the ground, and it's a little bit faster then to be in the air. Now, the difference is pretty minor, so it's not worth jumping excessively if it's going to cause you to hit a wall or have to turn back or something like that. It's worth it to just run into some positions for consistency. But when you can, you want to jump, so if there's nothing else going on, you're just moving along a straight area, you should just jump along. So the first movement trick we have coming up here is by jumping off of the spot where I just jumped before this, that little mushroom on the ground just to the right of that. You can hold left, do a full height jump, and you'll fall down this shaft cleanly without hitting the wooden beam to the right or the wall to the left, which is a little bit faster than hitting either of them and having to re-accelerate into your fall. So just there, I turned the UI off by pressing Alt-U. This hides your health and energy, which is a little annoying, but you can get used to it. And it has the beneficial effect of skipping all dialogue instantly, so that the text box that would normally appear when I grab that energy cell does not appear, and we won't have to listen to the dialogue that sign says here. It just gets skipped right away when the UI is off, so you want to have the UI off for this. Of course, it's not a huge deal. If you want to play with UI on for your first few runs, I'd recommend it. Or, turn it on and off in between sections where there's dialogue. That works fine too, but eventually you'll probably do runs with the UI completely off or off for most of the time anyways. So, we'll jump towards sign here. Now, one thing to note is if you mash click to pick up sign, you'll actually slow down and go into a slower walk as soon as you start the sign pickup thing. So you actually want to walk up to about here and then only activate sign at this moment. This is a little bit faster than mashing it and getting a bit of a slow walk from further away. So this gets us our buddy sign, and we'll take a moment to explain some things about Sign's attack, so let's hop into game for that. Alright, so the way that Sign's attack works is by mashing out shots, you see these volleys of 2 go out, and then there's a little bit of a cooldown before the next volley. So, the 2 ways to attack in this game are to just embrace that cooldown and mash shots out, pairs of 2. Every half second you can fire 2 shots. And this is the most effective way to attack if your mashing is very good, or you have attack bound to scroll wheel, which is what most players tend to do. Another way to attack is to avoid this long cooldown, and the way you can do this is by firing 1 shot and then waiting 0.3 seconds before firing the next. So it looks something along the lines of this. So you get this more consistent stream of firing. Now, in practice, a mix of the 2 is often best. For this fight coming up here, these guys have 5 hits, so you can do 5 paced shots on them, or you can do 1 paced shot and then some mashing. So let's hop back to the video. Okay, so resuming, we're going to be doing that 1 paced shot and then 2 spammed shots to get through these 3 crumpies here, and that will clean them up nicely. As the fight ends, there's a bit of a map cutscene here. You just mash cancel to get through that, and then you'll be on your way to the right. So the first thing to note is that we have a whole bunch of these slimes and glades coming up, and they can be a little bit tricky to dodge. So the general case for a flat ground slime dodge is exemplified best by this first guy here. And what you want to do is you want to jump past the middle of them, and then as you pass the middle of the slime, you want to turn back briefly and then continue going ahead. And this causes the middle shot there to miss you because you're past them, and it also slows you up so that the shot that gets fired in front of the slime doesn't hit you. So you slow down slightly to get past the slime without getting hit. This can take some practice, and it also varies a little bit by each slime because terrain, like height differences, affect how the dodges are done. So that's just the general case on that one. Now this next slime here, if you're able to take the pickup animation for experience, which happens the first time you pick up an experience orb, up here, then this slime will just kind of harmlessly shoot at you, and then you can jump over him easily. If you get the animation down on the jump pad, which will happen sometimes, you will have to do another turn back dodge on this slime, but this gets the animation correctly, so you just have an easy dodge past that slime, and then you can carry on up here. Now, as you kill this wall here, the next slime is already starting to move, so depending on how fast you do that, your dodge on that slime may vary. Just let you play around with it a little bit. What you want to do as you go past him is you want to soften him up with 2 shots and then kill him after you pull the rock out so that you can pick up his experience. Now, for that slime there, what happens, I'll just go back and show it again. You want to shoot him from as far away as you can so that he aggroes on you a little bit faster, because if you get hit by his shot, you will get pushed forwards past him. If you get hit by his body, you'll get knocked back and you won't be able to get past. So you want to attack him early so that his shot is out by the time you're there, and that lets you damage boost through him quite conveniently. Now, in this example, I'm at 2 health right now. Ideally, you're actually at 1 health here, but I didn't take damage from one of the slimes, so you know, that's life. This will happen sometimes when you have health drops. And the reason for that is that there's a trick coming up called the Ghost Door. Now, there's a couple things going on here. First one, if we hit the ground before we put these 2 keystones in the door, then there will be a short cutscene where Sign explains to us what keystone doors are. But if we open the door before the cutscene can begin, then it just gets skipped entirely. So you want to mash those keystones into the door as you're falling, and you want to be holding a save at this time so that you save as soon as you hit the ground. And the reason for that is by saving and then dropping into this water and dying, the door is just gone. The animation of the door opening gets skipped by doing this. This trick called Ghost Door is basically you put keystones into a door, which helps us as well here by skipping the cutscene. You save, and then you die. This is a little bit faster because the door opening animation takes about 5 seconds, and you can set up deaths around most doors quite quickly. So we do that here. Not a big deal if you miss it, but there you see the end of the door opening animation. Now we're going to take a short little detour here up to get this 4th health cell. This is actually required for this route. We need 5 health by the end. There are options about which health cells you take, but I highly recommend taking this one at the start. Now here, to make our path out easier, we're going to crouch, we're going to kill that 1 spore on the ground, and then we're going to drop down through these slimes here. Now, you'll maybe pay attention to the fact that I have been picking up a fair amount of experience during this section, and that is to try to set up a level up, either entering or exiting from the wall jump area. And this is pretty forgiving, and if you miss it, it's not a big deal. So I've turned on UI there just to show my experience as we come into this. This first level costs 25 experience, so I am very close to level now. And what I'm going to do as I drop down here is continue to hold jump, and that causes you to bounce off of this flower a little bit higher and over the middle shot of that slime. Now I have enough experience such that I level up right now, and that will blow up that wall so that I don't have to deal with it on the way out. It's not a big deal if you don't level up. It does not take very long to kill that. And there is a little bit more experience, which I will grab on the way out as well, just to show where you could level up if you were a little bit low. So now we're going to grab wall jump, and we're going to stop the video for a little bit and talk a bit about wall jump mechanics in game. Okay, so a little bit about wall jump mechanics. Generally speaking, the fastest way up a wall is to jump from some distance away so that you have your first jump already done and then start hopping the wall. In some places, when you can't do such a convenient jump, or when you're running into the wall from a slope and your first jump doesn't take you very high, it's better to get to the base of the wall and then do a wall run first, because wall runs are a lot faster than just hopping up the wall. But it kind of varies by situation. For this first wall, it actually barely matters. You can just pick whichever one you want about jumping like that, or by just running up and then doing the wall run and having less hops. Now, another thing to mention about wall jumping is when you jump off of a wall near the top, you kind of get this sort of arcing motion given to you so that it's easy to get on top of the wall. And sometimes this isn't desirable, but it's kind of a minor optimization, and I won't use it much in this guide. But what you can do is, rather than holding into the wall and jumping, you can do what's called a neutral wall jump, which is where you go to neutral inputs and then switch back to holding, right or left as appropriate as you're at the top of the wall. So that ends up looking something along these lines, and it just gives you a tighter amount of movement than that loopy jump there would. So kind of hard to see the difference, but it gets you on the ground faster. It doesn't kick you as far away from the wall, and it optimizes just a little bit. So I just wanted to mention it, but doing that is likely to lose you time for quite some time, but it's something to keep in the back of your mind. Alright, let's continue with the video. Okay, so jumping up this wall here, we're going to grab this energy cell. We absolutely need this energy cell. This puts us up to 2 energy, and is necessary for us to get to Grotto the fast way. So we'll grab that and we'll head out here. That experience there is what you could get if you didn't level up on the way in, just to give yourself a window to level up on the way out. So now hopping up here, this is a little bit of a tricky jump onto this hanging rock. What you want to do to get it is to jump straight up without much right speed, so that you don't push the rock out of the way, and then just kind of edge just barely right into the rock and then jump to the left. Now if you miss this, or you bump the rock and it starts to get swinging, you're probably better off just killing the slime and heading around off the right wall. But the fast way to do it is, of course, just bounce off the rock like that and continue heading up through glades. Now we have a damage boost to get through this area called the elbow. Now, you don't actually need to shoot that slime, it doesn't matter, you can just hop and then run into him. The hop is important to speed yourself up for beating this next slime. What you want to do here is run far enough to the right so that the second slime begins to shoot at you, and then you want to jump back to the left. And now note that this second slime is still on this mushroom. If he's on the high ground, and then you're going to have to get hit by him, which is honestly not a big deal. You have plenty of health here, you can afford it, but the fast way out is to only get hit just the one time and be able to jump over him like that. So that movement can take a little bit of practice. Now we'll just hop back through glades here. We'll do a conventional slime dodge with a little bit of a turn back on that guy. And coming up on this next slime, you can either kill this guy or you can do a turn back dodge. Now unfortunately this dodge is a little bad. I turned a bit too much, which caused me to land on the low ground. Ideally you want to land on the high ground here, and that's a bit faster, or you can just kill him, and that's a valid option as well. So this pretty much takes us over to Blackroot, and I'll wrap this video up here and we'll pick it up in the next one.